Hi, everybody. I'm so glad you tuned in to Miss Vee and The Crew. We back at you like before, and we want you to come on.
Come on in the room. Ooh, come on in the room. Come on, y'all.
I know y'all sound good.
Come on in this
I
room with
was
us.
thinking about you one day. I said we're gonna have to tell them the day you're gonna be giving out autographs, so that they can be ready to, sign. You can be able to sign autographs.
Okay. Yeah.
Girl, you laughing, but I'm serious. Baby, ain't nothing wrong with you giving out a few autographs. So they can at least say, I got her autograph when you blow up.
When she blow up. We're gonna be the first. More than more. We're gonna be the first two to get them autographs. Hey, Wanda,
You
Wanda
talking,
too.
but hey, you don't.
Well, speaking into existence,
You
better
know.
receive it.
You'll
You better
never know.
receive it.
I already told you, girl. You done already went from one verse to two, so I'm already ready for what's coming next. Today, there's so much on my mind. We got so much stuff to talk about, and actually, I don't want to waste a lot of time. But we got Temperance back in the building. I think that she should get a few minutes.
She's back. She's back.
Just to let us just hear about her, what she been doing, how she been doing, and what sometimes when you do this and you get this platform, it's hard to just let it go.
Yes.
And she's been gone for a while. What's been going on?
Well, the first week I was gone, I was actually sick. Unfortunately, I had tested positive for COVID. So if y'all think COVID is gone, baby, that was a couple of weeks ago. If y'all think COVID is gone, COVID is still out here and people are still testing positive for it. So it is good to, if you can, still wear your mask or just do whatever you can to keep yourself healthy. So yeah, that's what happened a couple weeks ago. I was out. And then last week we celebrated my middle child's birthday. So we were celebrating, it was a happy reason for me to be out. But I will say I'm glad to be back in the house. I've missed you, beautiful ladies. I did, catch some of the show. Unfortunately, I didn't see the whole one, but I'm glad to be back in here with you all. And I'm glad to be back here with our social media family. And looking forward to a good time on tonight.
All right. Me too. Oh, I'm just so excited to be here. This is LaWanda, your favorite podcast host. Hostess. I'm just happy to be here. I'm just happy that we made it another day, and I'm just excited about what we're going to talk about. And we just hope that you join us and take part in it. We need to hear from you. This is Miss Vee and The Crew, but we need you to make it happen. So come on in and talk to us.
I like that. We want to be nothing without you. It takes all of us to survive. One of the things I was looking at, and I don't know, maybe I'm just rebellious like that, but they was talking about Michelle Obama addressing the fact of the rumors that saying that her and Barack is getting a divorce. And I said to myself, why do people address issues that's actually none of nobody else's business? So why do you think she addressed it? Do you think she should have? You think she should have? What do you think?
Well, for me personally, I think that she could. Yeah, I think she should have addressed it only because she was the first lady. Only because her life and her business has always been out there. They're public figures, and then it'll hurry up and squash the rumors that you don't have to keep seeing your name popping up for some lies. Like a lot of this stuff. Even I don't know how if Jay-Z and all them different stars, if they've done what they said they did, but some of this stuff is false. So it's just to keep lies out of your name. I'm going to let you know it's not about to happen and we're still together, although we have our own issues. And then it'll encourage someone else that's looking at their marriage as being sacred or whatever. But it's all me personally, my personal business, man, because I'm not a public figure. Don't nobody care about what I go through. So
I care.
They don't care about mine.
Be amazing.
But Michelle, she's out there. She's a limelight. She's a light for a lot of people. And so I felt like she should address it only because of those reasons, not because they deserve an answer, but just because of who she is.
Well, I don't feel like if she feels like she don't want to address it, whether she's in the public, a public figure in the limelight, I feel like being in that arena, you choose what you want to put out there about yourself, and you choose what you want to keep. You know what I'm saying? So I feel like if she feel like she don't want to address it, then don't address it. Let people say what they gonna say. Let them think what they gonna think. Because even if she go, come forth and say, well, hey, I know, all the rumors going around and this is not true, blah, blah, blah. People still gonna think what they want. Then they're gonna say, oh, she just came out there to tell us that so we won't think they getting a divorce. So they're gonna keep it going anyway because people have inquiring minds. So, we just want more news. We want more gossip. We want to know what's going on with, other people's lives. So I feel like personally, I wouldn't say nothing. You think what you want to think and keep on thinking and just keep watching and see what we do later on. You will see eventually. So
Actually, that's I kind of agree with both of you guys in a little bit, but I guess I'm a little rebellious because come to the point that more you stir and stuff, the more you get because you start addressing stuff, trying to figure stuff out, trying to explain stuff. Now they're gonna ask you another question. Well, why
Yep,
you ain't been
that's it.
coming to this? And why you ain't doing it? No, I ain't asking you nothing. If I ain't come because I don't want to come.
That's
Oh,
right.
well, she didn't come to the Trump things, and she do what do if just because they line up there. I want to be different.
But I think that she addressed the issue with Trump too, saying that I'm not a phony. I don't like you. I'm not coming. And even when she was in the White House, she said her and Barack was at odds for like 10 years because she was tired of being there already. And so why would I want to keep going there? So what I like about her is she's so honest, she's open, and she's helping other people to be honest and open in their marriages
and be real.
She
Keep it
is.
real.
She's very real.
Yeah.
So she wasn't gonna come to some place. He had to go. He was the president. She wasn't the president, and she
had a choice.
And
and she chose not to go.
That's one of those
Yeah.
big things about when you in such platforms,
Mm-hmm.
the requirement and the responsibility they hold on your head.
Yes.
And when you do it and when you don't do it. And because because you hold this platform, responsibilities come with it. Is that what you're saying?
Yeah, that's a responsibility. The president, the Duchess, the Queen, all of those people.
But they know more of that.
They know who?
They're not in that.
They're not in that
those
circle
positions
anymore.
They are still.
So they'll be in it for the rest of their life.
Right. They're a public figure for the rest. They got secret services.
Yeah.
Okay.
They're public figures for the rest of their lives.
That brings me back to the and I didn't want to go there because I'm honestly I don't know a lot about it, but the young man Anthony Edwards, who paid his child support up front of what they was talking about, and he don't want no more to do with it, and don't want no more to do with her, and don't want no more to do with the baby and all that stuff. But he's a public figure, so do you think he needs to address that better? Not say that, live a lie, don't say nothing.
His title. He a basketball player. He gonna be retire one day, and nobody don't know his name. President Obama and Michelle gonna stay in the books, but with that, what's his name, Anthony Edwards. When I think about him, I think about Fantasia. When she said, "If you don't want me, then don't talk to me. If you don't want my baby, then don't come for him.
That's it.
Sign him over, give him away." And because you know why? I feel like later on in life, he's gonna regret that.
Oh yeah,
he's gonna regret signing his child over, signing all his parental rights over. Just give her a lump sum and leave her alone because he thought he was getting a fling. And you got a baby at the whole thing, and she got, but
that's
plus,
I finished said, don't you do not leave her out.
Yeah, she got a baby by another superstar, little baby or somebody. I don't even know who these people are.
Me neither.
But she gonna be paid for a while.
And I want every back pay. I want every prenatal. I want everything.
Give me everything.
He said he willing to give it to her just because he don't want the hassle of her dealing with her for the rest of his life.
Close that up, please.
What?
My phone. I'm sorry. Hey, y'all. Just.
Yep. She don't want the hassle of.
Well, that's what he said. The reason why he didn't even want to be bothered with none of it, and he was releasing all that stuff because he didn't want. He wants to get rid of her.
Yeah. So he disowning his children because he don't want to be with the woman.
He got four. He got about four different women.
Yeah. So he don't want to deal with any of his children.
I guess it's just this one.
Okay.
Because they said something wrong with the sound.
Okay.
Is it on all phones or just this one?
Who can't hear the sounds? All three of us have our phones connected. So if you're on my end, just say I can't hear the sound. Tempest.
That's Nikki says she can't hear it on Miss
Or
V.
say I can't hear the
So
sound
y'all
from
keep
Miss
talking.
V, or I can't hear the sound from LaWanda. You can also go to our YouTube channel at IntellectualRadio.com and you can pull it up there. We'll be there as well. Sorry, y'all. But yeah, so you're saying that he has
I wish
four different baby mamas,
but when
four children.
when I was reading it today, apparently he has two by somebody. But I was reading it. I was talking to somebody at work, and they say he got four babies, and they about four different mothers,
Okay.
and that he has given up all right. But the way they made it sound, but when I was reading it, it didn't sound as bad as they was making it sound.
Mhm.
Because sometimes when you looking at Facebook and you looking at YouTube and stuff, a lot of that stuff be fake news. That stuff
Yes.
don't be the truth and the
It's
whole
for
truth.
entertainment.
Yeah,
It's for
they
entertainment.
add stuff, take stuff away from it, and so it seems like the young man is saying, if I got to be dealing with you, I don't want to deal with none of it, not even the baby. And then by the time she get 18, maybe I can come in her life." And they was telling me, he said, "Yeah, by 18, you gonna have good genes, and then I'll get back into your life," which is crazy. But I don't think that's the way he meant it. And he was trying to be what we say, keeping it real, keeping it 100.
Yeah.
Sometimes when you keep it 100, them the things that people don't understand.
Baby mama drama. Somebody don't want to deal with that. That's why it's important that these athletes strap up, come ready and prepared.
Because you never know what you're gonna get.
Yeah.
You never know what you're gonna get. And it's always two sides of the story. So of course we hear or what he is saying is what's out there, but we don't know what he's really dealing with, with this mother, this baby's mom. So for him to even go to the point to say the things he's saying, and like you said, sometimes we say things and then people gonna take it and twist it. So now I'm sure it's just all in the air, and it's just like a whirlwind. It's twisted. It's so many different,
I totally agree.
Yeah.
Baby,
but what do you mind? Do you understand how? Take for instance the guy from Washington, when his mother says, "Ain't nobody coming in here messing nothing up." He was at a basketball game. He was talking to a young lady. She sat in between them. They said the mother doing too much.
Is she the manager?
But
she's trying to protect it. But
her child.
But
and
I
his
said
money.
But I said that, and they beat me up
And
for
I'll
saying
do the same
that the
thing.
mother is protecting it. But they say if the child is grown, then the mother cannot protect him and his money.
If the mother is the manager, and if it is the momager, and the mother see things that we don't see, she got a right to. I wish I would have knew that when my son was in all these different careers and stuff, because I would have been straight just like them. Because a lot of times they acting out of fame and emotions, and I'm star,
right?
And they not seeing the whole picture of gold digger getting you trapped and all that stuff. I was just thinking about the game, when Tamia and them was doing the game, and how they had the turkey basters and trying to get the men's sperm through the turkey basters and get pregnant. It was on TV. I was like, I wonder, do they still try to do that kind of stuff?
I believe
to try to get pregnant by these men, these players.
These kids, they see these players probably in high school and stuff and say he gonna be something, and they target in on them. But I was telling them, I said, well, when even though, because you look at what the Sanders guy that's got the son and stuff, and I was I was really amazed with him. He was at a event with his son. His son was slouched down. He looked over at him and said, "Sit up."
That's right.
The son didn't do nothing but sit up.
Yeah.
They're like, yeah, but when they get grown, you can't be making them do nothing. I said, look, I don't care how old you get out here. This money and stuff will corrupt you.
That's right.
And you need to hear a voice, and that voice needs to be stronger than any other voice if you're a parent.
How many athletes out there that you see now that says, I wish I would have listened to my mom, or they're broke right now because they went their own way and then they got to file bankruptcy. They let not just baby mamas, family members milk them dry and then walk away from them and talk about them and all that other stuff. So yeah, if the mother see it and she understands it, she'll let him go get out, get mad at me, go off on me or whatever. But I'm still gonna do what I need to do.
I'm
that's
still
what they said about the other
man.
He divorced his parent because he don't want them to get none of his money.
Well, I'm sure he'll regret it in the end.
Yep. Yeah.
He'll regret it in the end.
What
baby.
do you think that he? Was
But
it?
yeah,
Do you think he ought the parent ought to get some of their money when
I think they should
there?
offer it, especially if they raise them. They've been taking them to the basketball
Baby.
games, taking them to the football game. Don't get me started.
Going broke, buying all these
Yeah,
uniforms and paying all
yeah.
these fees and
What?
traveling from this side of the town to the, you better give me something.
I'm with you.
You
Like, that's
better.
their money. They can do with it what they want.
No, it
I
ain't.
said, yeah, but what kind of child would you raise and he see you needing
That
something
part right
or
there.
you got it and you won't give it?
I love it when I hear somebody say, "I retired my parents."
Yes,
I
I
let my
love that.
parents. My parents don't have to work anymore, and they can retire early. Yeah, retire me.
Yes.
Retire me.
Please.
That's what I say.
Please.
Well, I
Tell
think
me.
that once your kids do come up into some type of stuff like that, they ought to give you without even you even asking.
That's
It ought
true.
to, it
That's
ought to
true.
just it ought to be just my parents. These are
Yeah.
people's. These are the responsibility.
Right.
That for who I am and how I got here in the first place.
But like
So
you
do you
said,
ever think it's too late to live your dream?
No, I just want to piggyback real quick. One of the persons on Tempest's phone line said, "Being a public figures already make you an investment to people." Yeah, people are invested in you already. So I just want to throw that out there.
And that's true. People are invested in you, but me personally, again, I still feel like me being in the public eye, I give you the information I want you to know. I don't have to give you my whole life story. I give you the pieces of me that I want you all to know. But I feel like it still should be a portion of me that I should be able to keep, to myself. It's something personal, just me, my family, whatever. I don't feel like my whole life has to be in the eyes of, in the spotlight.
Well, that brings me back to say something that even when it comes with the preachers, when people is on these platforms and people are taking this stuff, honestly, they don't tell you to put them on a pedestal. You do.
You do.
So when you put them up there and they fail or
That's
they don't rise to your expectations, that's nobody's fault but yours.
You said it right there.
Because at the end of the day, people are talking and people are trying to be real. And when you want to see the real person,
That's
when
true.
you want to see, let me love the real you,
Mhm.
or let me try to understand the real you, instead I give you all this phony stuff, and next thing you know, you find out that the phony part of me, no, you don't.
Yeah.
You rather find out, don't wait till I get in the middle of the screen and then start just changing or switching gears on me. Know the real one.
Keep it real.
Keep it real.
Be genuine.
And then
be
you can
your
say, I ain't
authentic
never
self.
laughed at you. You know what I'm saying? Instead of waiting to get out here and say, I thought I liked at you. No. I think that's one of the real things we have. If we can just be real and let the people see, and like you said, people's only going to show you because people can make their mouth say anything.
Yeah, that's true.
So, I mean, ain't no need of you just falling in love with what come out of these people's mouths.
That's right.
Try to learn and try to keep it real with them and be you.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
But I like what you said. We put expectations on people, right? You sitting them people on that high level. Then nobody tell you to put them up there. And if they made a mistake, now you dogging them out. These people are humans. They just like everyday people, just like we are. You know what I'm saying?
Right.
They just got more money. They did what they did to get to a higher level, but they are still humans. They make mistakes. They have faults. They have issues, the same as we do.
And I bet you when they get the money, even though I shall say I've been rich and I've been poor, I'd rather be rich. But I ain't never been rich. But I can imagine the lifestyle of being rich and the expectation of trying to get it and then to keep it and having to do some crazy stuff to maintain it. I mean, that's got to be frustrating.
Yeah, it has.
Having to try to hold what you got, keep what you got. Because trust me, if you don't have anything that's keep coming in, that's in is gonna soon go out.
Yes.
So you have to be in a position where whatever I'm doing, I got to keep doing it. Whatever lifestyle that is, and it may have to lead you down some roads that you don't want to.
Yeah.
That's why we listen to Terrence Howard. He's a lot of them give up your man card. And then when you give it up, now you go into all kind of stuff because now you're trying to live with what you've done.
Yeah.
That's hard.
That takes me to Mr. Boone on here says that, we on different subjects and stuff. Why we not talking about the terrorists in China and stuff like that and touching bases on that? Because, right? And yeah, that's what he said. You want to know, if we on a couple. I'm telling you what we said. He said we on a couple of subjects, so he wanted us to stick to something that like the terrorists on China or something like that. So yeah, that's what he said.
Yeah, I understand it, but I have no clue.
Well,
There is so much that go on news, social medias. I tune out from it because it's so much get into filter traits into your mind, into your head, and before you know it, you confused.
yeah.
I was thinking about that today. We are the temptation. It ain't nothing but a ball of confusion. Everywhere you look, it's all kind of fight. There's all kind of disagreement, wars, rumors of wars, all kind of discussions and stuff. And you got to get to a point. And I don't know whoever, because if you guys know something on those platforms, I wish you would talk about it, because everybody wants to know some stuff on different subjects. But my whole subject about everything is try to seek those things which is above, because all of this stuff that's going on, all this stuff is temporary.
Come on, it's
This stuff
temporary.
is only going to last for a season.
That's
Next,
it.
you talked about R. Kelly. Now he's old news. Now you on Diddy. And when you get through Diddy, it's going to be somebody else. All of this stuff is only a temporary situation. But what you want to do now is what we're talking about. All of this health stuff, hopefully it's only going to last for a season.
Yeah.
Last week we was on Lee Andrews. They done forgot about her. Then the other night we was on Sap. They done forgot about him. This stuff is only a temporary season.
Yeah.
And don't you never ever get caught up.
I was just gonna say, don't get too caught up.
You get caught up in all of this stuff that's happening on, baby. We got to make sure the home front is tight. We got to make sure the home front is right.
Yeah.
Like I told them, when it comes to these stars, hopefully and prayerfully, they got a voice in their head that is bigger than the voices that they hear, because you're going to definitely hear some voices.
And that's the same thing with the tariffs. I will say, like, I've been watching some of the stuff, I'll sit and listen and watch it. It is a lot. To me, it's a lot. It's confusing. It's like every time you turn on the news, it's all you do. All you see is this man's face talking about how he's going to make America great again. And I mean, but if you read between his lines, what do he mean about I'm gonna make America great again? Like, what do you really mean? You know what I'm saying? Sometimes it's things that you have to be able to decipher what this man really mean. But I feel like, yes, he is talking about all the different tariffs and how he's trying to charge all these people these different, taxes and just doing all this stuff. I think what we need to focus on, not so much as what this man is, not so much as all the stuff he's saying, but what he is trying to do. Focus on that and pray for our country. That's what I feel we need to do. Pray for our country. We need to come together. And if you are a believer, God, you got a relationship, I think we need to be praying, because if I get too caught up in it, like you're saying, it gets confusing. I get too caught up with it. People starting to get people getting stressed and depressed and want to take their lives and all this and that because of this one man who is literally trying to act as though he is a god. This man is acting like he's King of Kings and Lord of Lords. So we literally, I would say, we got to be careful on how we even, taking in all this stuff this man is saying. Don't let it get you fearful. Get a relationship with God and hold on to your faith and pray for our country. Pray for that man. Pray for him. Pray that he will even get a mind. You know what I'm saying? That he will really begin to listen to God, that God can just get a hold of him. Because if you don't, you will let all of this stuff drive you up a wall. Every night, that's all you hear. But it's more in the world that's happening than that.
And I want to say, clear up, he said that he wanted us to stick to a subject. So I want to let you know that the reason why we talk about a couple of subjects when we first start is because those are our icebreakers. Those are the things that bring us into what we're going to talk about. So we touch bases on a few things that's happening around the world to bring us to our destination of what we're really going to talk about. Am I right, Ms. V?
Amen.
So that's why it seems like we talking about a few different things at the same time, is because we are talking about a few things at the same time. We want to touch bases on some of the things that's happening in the news right now, and then bring ourselves to a focus on the issue that's happening. Like right now, the young man, you want to talk about it?
No, whatever way, because I know when it comes to me, anybody that know me, I jump about 5 or 6 conversations at one
Right.
time. You
Right.
have to, you be like, wait a minute, what did she say? Where am I at now?
You're right.
I know I'm crazy like that. So you have
No,
to
I wouldn't say you crazy. It's just
no,
who you
you
are.
can always reel me. Those sense, you can always reel me back in because I've been went to 10 and I'm like, wait a minute, I forgot I wasn't supposed to do that.
Yeah, but we wanted to talk about the young man that stabbed the other guy.
But I know the yeah, but I know what the one thing that you said, and I did want to ice break that for before we because I thought it was something
Pull
that
it up.
was pretty good. You said that is it ever too late to start living your dream? And I thought that we should at least, because I don't know, maybe somebody is in that position right now that they think it's too late and they think they are Sarah or Abraham and they ain't able to complete a dream. And I thought it would have been nice if you could mention that and
Yeah.
because that was actually one of before we got to talking, that was actually one of the icebreakers.
Yeah, I feel like it's never too late. At one point, I did thought that I was at the end of the road for my dream of writing and stuff like that. Because I want to get this book out. It's all in me. I got half of it together, and then I stopped, and I felt like, well, I'm getting too old. Well, I'm not that old, but yeah, I don't retired. I'm still working, and I'm all over the place in that area. So I'm like, maybe it's too late. Maybe just give it up and just do what I'm doing. But no, I feel like, yeah, that's another pushing me. This is my second win. So with this second win at 60, 70, I can do this. And I know that yeah, this is never too late to live your dream. Keep following it, keep going, keep doing it. As long as there's breath in your body, as long as there's a vision in your heart, bring it out.
That's
That's what
so
I
true.
say.
Yeah, I agree. I don't feel like it's too late for you to live your dream. And I used to feel the same way. I used to feel like, oh, I'm too old to go back to school because I wanted to do nursing or whatever, and say, oh, I'm just too old to go back and this and that. But I had a lot of nurses who I've worked with. It was like, you're not too old. And one of my jobs I was at, I had a nurse. I think she had just became a nurse at 50. She was 54 and she had been a nurse for about 2 or 3 years. And she was very encouraging or whatever. And sometimes you need people to kind of like encourage you. You know what I'm saying? It kind of just gives you that little extra I guess that you need. But saying all that to say, I've come to a decision that no, I'm not too old. And as long as I'm living and have breath, whatever it is I decide to pursue, I'm going to pursue it.
No.
So yeah, and that's where I'm at. I'm gonna pursue it. I don't care what you think, what you say, what you doing. Because I used to get this question. People say, "What you doing now? What you doing now?" Honey, trying to follow my dreams. You know what I'm saying? But you have to be careful because when you put stuff out there in the atmosphere, sometimes you get the negativity from other people. And I realize it's because that's not a dream of theirs. That's not what God put in you to do, but that's what He put in me to do. So sometimes we got to be careful too with what you say,
You share
who
your
you
dream.
share it with, because it will make you start having those negative thoughts where you'll be like, well, maybe I am too old. Maybe I shouldn't do this. Maybe I just stick to no, 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 no. We're never too old. Because one of my dreams is to not continue to work, not have to work for somebody for the rest of my life or until I retire. So I'm working on some things so that I will not have to work for somebody for the rest of my years until retirement.
Mm.
You know what I'm saying?
That sounds like
So
a good.
yeah,
Already there, so
yeah.
I like that. I like that. I think that what I do believe, and this is just me believing that the older you get, the dreams change, because the things, some of the things that I know for myself, some of the things that I wanted, uh, I don't want no more,
Mm-hmm.
and some of the things that I thought I couldn't live without, I can live without.
That's it.
So I think that the older you get, and I don't know if it's everybody, but I know it's for me. I mean, it was a time when you had your childrens and you wanted big houses and you wanted that white picket fence and you wanted all that stuff. I don't want that stuff anymore. So I think that sometimes the older you get, I think a dream don't change.
Mhm.
but thus certain dreams changes.
Yeah.
The
Right.
things you think you wanted, you don't want no more.
Mhm.
But I think you ought to always keep that push or that drive,
Mhm.
and like you said, a second wind.
A
Yes.
second one.
Because when you whatever you go, you got to do it with all your might.
That's it.
Yep.
That's it.
Yeah.
And
Yeah.
why did you say you was going to bring us?
You can go ahead and bring
No,
us
go
into.
ahead.
I don't even know his name.
Uh, So
Well,
let me say this. I want to say thank you all for joining us here at the Miss V and the Crew podcast show. We want to have, if you want to call in, you all could call in and chime in, talk to us at 708-223-8953. We would love to hear your voices. If you got some comments or just some things you want to say, questions, or advice for us or whatever, please call us here at the show at 708-223-8953. And again, thank you for following us here at the Miss V and the Crew podcast.
well,
Mhm.
at work is like we get a lot of conversation at work, and the young lady was talking today. I honestly I don't be knowing these stories that well, so I try to don't talk too much because YouTube give you fake news. So you be up there saying stuff. You be saying because they had said JJ died. I'm like, oh man, and I'm calling
Good
somebody.
times.
Yeah, the man hadn't even died, and you they be telling you that stuff on there, and you go spreading that news, and it ain't even true. So, but they was telling me this story, and they was talking about how much money they have raised for this Carmelo Anthony's case with the young man who
Mm,
stabbed the other young man, one of the twin brothers.
right.
And she was telling me about it and the sadness of it and how it happened. And I'm like, and she was giving me some of the scoop of it, and I'm trying to piece it together. And I want you guys to tell me what part you know about it. But before we even get into that, that is one of the sadness of the things that I do see, of the sadness of this fighting and the confusion, and how easily we can be so misunderstood, and how one little simple thing can turn to a disaster.
Yeah. That's
One of the things that I read about it just briefly, everybody is saying, and I don't know if that's a high point or what is the key thing is, why would you bring a knife to a track meet?
um it is a tragedy and it is very sad. um we don't know the whole story of what happened and why, but in my opinion, I feel like that as a young black man, he probably was already intimidated or approached at some point, because as I read about it, he said he ran, but he did tell the police, yes, I did it because I was trying to protect myself. Why do he need to protect himself at a track meet? Is this the first time this young man approached him? Is it the first time this young man hit him? He said he told the young man, if you hit me, you're gonna see what happened. And that's what happened. And was he at his boiling point? Was he at was he so tired or so intimidated that that he felt like he had to stab this young man, or could he just fought with his hands? It's a lot of questions behind it. Was it a black white issue? Because that's what everybody makes it out to be, regardless of if it's a black or white child, whoever kid, two parents are hurting. One child is in jail and one would never be here again. Matter of fact, and then the other one had to watch his brother die.
In his
Could there
arm.
be some kind? Could the one who hit him, could he have restrained himself from hitting him and maybe not pushed him over the edge? Was he calling him any kind of names before he hit him? He told him to leave, and then he wanted to get from under the tent and go in the rainstorm. He's like, I'm not going. So you're gonna make him get out. So two wrongs didn't make this a right at all. And yeah, as y'all, after y'all give y'all comments, I'm gonna read some of the comments that they were saying under his name, and why do you think that we should raise money for this 17-year-old murderer? Okay, but it's another 17-year-old bully. There are two different kids with two different issues who made bad choices, in my opinion, because they both made bad choices. One push, one stab. Should he be incarcerated for the rest of his life? I'm not the one to say. if he should. But I feel like at 17, you got a chance to change. You got a chance to grow. Unfortunately, the young man who was stabbed don't have that other chance.
Mm-hmm.
But what do y'all take?
But I don't even know about the story, so I'm gonna let you all talk about this one, and I'll listen.
I'm
Well, do you think that two young kids in that's having a argument or a fight, one is white, one is black, and the black kid stabbed the white kid because he said the white kid pushed him,
Okay.
and in front of his twin brother, and his twin brother had to go and hold his brother's chest, try to keep him alive, and watch his brother's breath leave his body in front of him.
Mm-hmm.
Do you think there's a right person or a wrong person? How would you? And then now people on Facebook saying we love this young man. He's 17. We love this young man. He was just protecting himself, and they raising money to get him out of jail. He need $1 million?
Okay.
well, they up to 300,000 now.
Yeah. So
Okay. Well, I
But
mean, like you
he
said,
apparently, well, one of the things that I did read was that he was under the tent first. It had started raining, and he was under the tent.
okay.
And then they came there and told him to get out. And he said, no, I'm not getting out. And they told him to get out. And apparently it's two of them. And so and apparently then he started to going into his bag.
Yeah.
So maybe he was getting prepared for whatever is going to happen. And one thing led to another. And so what they saying, he came there already. And someone said, I'm getting it straight. This is a good young man. He's on the track and all that stuff. And then they claim that the other guys was good guys. They was on the football team.
Good
But
guys
you would
make
never.
bad choices.
They make bad choices, and I mean, who's to say why he had the knife? Maybe maybe he did carry a knife just for protection from. We never know. Maybe he was being bullied. If it's two of them, they twins.
I don't know.
Who's to say? I mean, I
You
don't know.
too
I'm
many
just
kids
we
these
just
days ain't
talking.
got a
But who don't
weapon.
have a weapon?
weapon.
I mean, who don't have a weapon? And if he felt like he was in fear of his life, then he did what he had to do to protect himself. But see, that's my thing. All we can do is hear these stories, and we can give our opinions, right? And we can give our advice. If we were not there, you really wouldn't. The outsiders would really never know what really happened. Nobody knows what happened, but that young man who stabbed him, the one who died, and maybe the brother. Other than that, nobody really will know the true story. But we do, as humans, right? As people, we give our advice and we give our opinions. So really, we don't know why. Why was he? Why did he have the knife? What did they do? They had. I mean, if somebody pushed you to a point, maybe you will go like, enough is enough. And he just, who knows what happened.
And this could be another instance too. He had run-ins with them before.
Right?
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? It could be you could take this thing so many different ways.
Places.
And maybe they've already because somebody will let me set the record straight. These weren't no good guys. These was bullying. They had bullied him before. So some people is but you don't even know if they telling the truth.
You will never know. We will never know.
And right now, even as kids these days go to school, they're taking things in their backpack, socks, everything for protection, because guess what? They got to catch the bus. They got to go across town. They are afraid. Heck, I ain't gonna say me, but people
you
are.
can say me.
I ain't saying I'm not saying afraid, but I'm gonna protect myself. Put it like that. These kids are afraid because you look on the news, it make them scared. You go walking down the street in your own neighborhood, it make you scared. You go in other folks' neighborhood, they make you scared. Mm-hmm. So I'm not saying that he shouldn't protect himself. I'm not saying he's wrong or right, because like I said, two parents are hurting right now because one is in jail, one lost their life. One may not see her child again either out of prison. I'm saying that when you up against these kind of choices, you don't know what you're going to do, because you don't know how it's two guys. I'm by myself. I'm sitting here. I ain't bothering nobody. I'm trying to do the best I can. And then it's right now for me, it's dividing the racist again.
Mm-hmm.
This is another race thing. Some people say it's black, some people say it's white.
Mm-hmm.
One is wrong, one is white, but yeah, it's a lot of comments, and I wanted to share a couple of those comments because we was told that the kid was an honor student and everything. So one of the people on here said, if his parents raised him right, he wouldn't be skipping classes and bringing a knife to a track meet. His parents lied and said he was an honor student with his GPA was actually less than 2.0. I don't see them letting him being on the track team
If his
like that
GPA was
because in
less than
sports
2.0.
you got to have a certain GPA.
Mm-hmm.
He was also suspended once in the past for bringing a knife to school. So this isn't his first rodeo. I wonder if this is true information because how did you get this information?
Right.
And they saying that he hope he spends many years behind bars because he deserves it. So things like this, like we said, if you a public figure and you out there, stuff like this need to be addressed when people put negativity on your name like this, because this could be this young man's life and somebody's putting that out there. And another person said,
media.
Yes,
yeah,
it is.
social
Yeah.
media.
This stuff.
Yeah. But if you go back and forth with everything somebody said on the negative notes, you'll be going back and forth forever.
Yeah.
You see what I'm saying? So
But there's
sometimes,
some positive stuff
Yeah.
said too, right?
yeah.
Yeah.
But no, I'm just saying, like she was saying, you gotta address things, but people gonna always have something
Yeah, but I'm saying
negative to
when you
say.
going into court,
Of
you're going
course.
to law, you're going into trying to get people to help you and to be on your side. When they put all those negative,
It may turn some people off.
it
From
may
wanting to
turn
help
some
you.
people off from helping you. And it says parents can raise their children right and they can still do wrong. We all have free will. And why did the killer go into the tent of the team from the other school and have a seat, period? So he went in the tent from the team from the other school. Nobody in the tent knew him, they said. Then he refused to move from the seat of someone from the school. But is that the same? Is that the same one?
I'm questioning that
Yeah.
because if who was the boy that did the stabbing? Was he in the right place, or he came over to their school?
I'm not sure. That's what I'm saying. These are things that should be addressed.
It's a lot of stuff gonna come out when everybody start to doing their part, and like you just said,
Yeah.
it's just pain on both sides.
On
Right.
both sides.
And like they
At
said,
the end of the day, it's
some
pain
people-
on both sides.
Some people carrying knives, some people carrying rifles in their trucks, and you jogging down the street and you get shot and not doing nothing.
Yep.
So we all have different things that we're doing. He shouldn't have had a knife. We don't know why he had the knife, but there's other people in their trucks and they're shooting people for no reason because they're in their territory. So who's to say that it wasn't an incident like that?
These kids is walking down the street with the guns out, just walking. I'm with the stuff that you see now.
Yeah.
I looked out the other day and the boy had a big gun, and I'm wondering which house is he finna go to?
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
You don't
know.
And you don't know how many, now not for that situation, but you know how many blocks or streets this young man had to cross.
Right.
Maybe he just happened to been found with a knife. Maybe
Yeah.
the knife he had it for just all his travel, for how many blocks I gotta go, how many neighborhoods I gotta go through. It had nothing to do with bringing a knife to the meet. I done traveled through some more blocks to get to this meet.
Yeah. One of the last ones I want to read, it said the same people who said George Zimmerman and Kyle Rittenhouse were innocent are saying this kid is guilty. And I don't want to say what the rest of it say. But it's dividing because
anytime it's a racial difference, it's gonna always be a division. That's just life. It's gonna always be a division, no matter what. You know what I mean? It's gonna always be a division. That's just the life. That's just the world we live in. We've been living in it, so it's always gonna be a two-sided story. And a racial issue. So I don't know. Like I said,
I hate that.
I hate that.
We do. Because when because this would bring me back to a subject I really, really wanted to talk about, but we probably won't do it today because it hurts me to see juveniles at 12 and 13 years old spending the rest of their life in prison. And
Yes.
I just, and people's like, most people's I talk to, if you do the crime, you're going to do the time. But do you believe that at 12 years old, that you supposed to go? And I even asked myself, how do the judges decide? Because you can have this young man, he kills somebody, he's get out in 10 years. You have this one, he doing a double life. How, I mean, what kind of people do we have make these
Make the
decisions?
decisions. Yeah.
And you putting somebody away. I just happened to saw two young men. Obviously, they did something bad. They killed these. They wanted to get their grass cut, and the person and the old people said, "No, we don't want them." They came back and killed them.
Killed the old people.
Yes.
Oh my God.
And at this point now, they done been in there 30 some years, and they'll never get out. And and my thing is, they said they killed them, so they supposed to do the time. That's what everybody say, and they be thinking I'm insensitive, which I am not, because when it comes to a person's life that you had no reason to take, which because you can't give it, it's hurting. But tell me, how would that help the peoples that you hurted,
Yeah.
spending the rest of your life in prison?
And
Do
they
you
were
think
young when
that
they did that?
they was
So you
they was
saying
10, 11 years old? They wanted to cut the grass and they didn't. So I think they said it was 9 and 10.
9 and 10 years old,
They wanted to cut the grass. The people said
and
no.
they killed
They killed
9 and 10-year-olds are out here killing people?
what?
I mean, so okay, saying
What
this
she
to
did?
say,
I know,
no,
right?
no, I'm sorry. I just feel like, wow, they so young, but yeah. Okay, so what you're asking is it right for them to have to spend the rest of their lives in jail?
Do you think that?
I mean, why not? You took a life, you took 2 lives. So, I mean, you do the crime, you do the time.
And
Now,
isn't and
yeah,
isn't that amazing that now the mother look for mercy, and most of the time it's the mother that's going to be standing there with you, because regardless of the crime, the mother's going to still say the child is mine,
of course, it's still a child, but your child did wrong.
and that he deserved to spend a life in jail.
I don't know.
Now you guessing, you second guess
You
yourself
know, I
now.
feel like I think at that age they need some psychological help. They need some counseling, and yeah, because 9 and 10 is really young. Like their mindset, I don't know.
They
I
talk to
don't know.
him.
I did say yeah, but that's kind of heartbreaking and sad to just even think that a 9 and 10-year-old is
Most people you talk to
have a
said
mindset to
right at the
want to
point, nope,
kill.
they took a life and they ought to do that. And sure, you was wrong. But how many things do you got to ask about? How many things would you go if you went back, you would do it different? I
Yeah,
mean,
but I ain't
it's
killed nobody now.
you know
I'm sorry.
I'm
I ain't
but
never
now
killed
if
nobody, baby.
but
I ain't
but
gonna
now
tell you.
if we
Have I ever wanted to? Woo-wee.
if we go deeper than that, they said there's no little and big sin. They all sins.
That's true.
But this is the problem with a 10-year-old and 9-year-old. They have older individual glorifying death. They have older individuals teaching them how to commit crimes, sell drugs, carry 10-year-old with a gun,
Mhm.
carrying guns nowadays, and robbing people on the street. 9-year-old robbing people. How did they get this? Somebody
Right.
in their house, somebody that's grooming them, are teaching them. They only know what they're being
What they
taught
and
at
what
this moment.
what
To
they
me,
see.
death ain't not shoot the shoot that,
Right.
that it's nothing to them, where it's horrifying to us because we didn't live that kind of life. And I feel like if they come out, which I feel like eventually they should, but I don't feel like they should come out the same way, because 30 years the streets have changed. You were scared then, you're even scarier now. I feel like there should be better prison reform. So many men have
That's
been in
true.
jail, get back out, and they don't know what to do, how to do it. Nobody's reformed them. There's nothing in prison that's really teaching them. Yeah, some of them get a GED, some of them can go to drug rehab, but what's really transforming your mind and your thought? You can choose to go to church in there if you want to, or you can choose not to go to church. They got more drugs and more guns in prison than they
Inside.
got on the
Yes, they
street.
do.
It's just like you in a closed-in house
Yes, they do.
where everything's happening. So if I feel like after 30 years and they decide to let you out, there should be a transitional place for you to go before you are actually let in society. And that means gradually.
Yeah.
You gradually earn your hours out or something like that, because
Yeah.
Yeah,
Not
you
just
not
come
ready for
straight
this.
from jail and
There
come
wasn't,
out into
there wasn't no
society.
cell phones.
Yeah.
You was at the rotary phone.
Yeah, he said
Mhm.
he said
Wasn't no
he said they don't
YouTubes
know
and all
none
of
of that.
that.
They don't know they don't know how to
Yeah.
use anything. But you think about it, and this is before we end. You think about it now. You these people that's in jail and they've been in there for all these many years. You is taking care of them because you
Mhm.
Yep.
got to that you got to feed them. You got to put the roof over their
Yeah.
head. You get letting them go to you sending them to school.
School. Yeah.
So you doing all of this for this person that's going in there to be rehabilitated,
They
Yeah.
not. They just being incarcerated.
incarcerated.
Mhm.
That's it. They
Yeah,
not
but
being rehabilitated at
well,
all.
well, that's true. But the thing of it
Some
is,
of them are, but not all of them. I don't think it's enough of them that's being rehabilitated and being, changed. But I feel like it's probably like a small number, but
I feel like they're not truly being rehabilitated. I feel like their actions of being incarcerated and they sit down. If you sit down long enough and stop drinking long enough, stop smoking long enough, and sit in one 8x8 wall long enough, you're gonna say, I'm a fool. I done did this dumb stuff, and you start mentally rehabbing yourself.
Mhm.
But now you don't got 30 to 40 years to think about it. Now you can pick up your Bible and read. Now you can do all these other stuff
but
because
they
you
gonna go
done
right back.
yeah, because you're in this place.
so it's like
You,
you're in this place, you have no choice but I don't got nothing else to do. Let me either pick up the Bible and read it or go
But
to school. You know
but
what I'm
I can't
saying?
see how you come out and go back. And they
Yeah,
said,
but you got a lot of people, a
but then
lot
you
of them
think,
do.
but you think about it. How is it? You said they go back, but now I can't make if that's what you do. But you can't say that's what everybody
That
gonna
everybody
you
don't
do.
can't.
do that now. Some
Everybody
people
don't.
come out and say, I'm free, I enjoy my freedom, I'm not going back
I'm
in there
never
because
going
they
Exactly.
had
back.
a terrible
But
experience.
that's what
But
they're
you
saying.
got
Well, you know
some that
what?
go back over and over.
They're
It's
gonna come
like,
out and they're gonna do the same thing over
mhm.
again. But now you can't just because that one did it and that one did it, because they were telling me about the young man that got out, and there's so many of them, and he got out and then he killed the young man, and there's so many of them do terrible stuff. But you cannot isolate that one situation for
Mm-mm.
everyone that in there.
No.
No,
Everybody's not gonna do
and
that.
some people they really do let out and they really do go back in. And they really do let them out again. And they really do go back in again. They really do. And Boone just said that yeah, they okay in jail because they got iPhones and
Well, yeah, they do.
they
They
shooting
got
videos up
tablets
in
or
there.
something now, honey. I'm like, shoot, they talk on phones now.
Yeah,
So
I know
so
that.
they honestly, I feel like too, it's a mind thing. They get so content and comfortable with being where they are. If you think about it, they inside, and it's not to say it's for everybody. So please don't get us wrong for what we're saying.
No,
They get
not
inside, they
everybody.
comfortable, right? I'm my food, I got free food for the most part, got a free roof over my head. Everything they not paying for nothing. They being taken care of. And then they get comfortable, they get content with what they do, and that becomes their life.
Well,
Yeah.
and mostly I think it's the ones that got the 30 who already been sentenced to a whole lot of years and stuff like that. Like I might as well get comfortable. I'm here 30 years. I'm here 40 years. I'm here for the rest of my life. But
They
then I
give
know
him
it's some be
they
three
give
and
him double life and all of that stuff. I'm
but
like,
It's
my
sad.
problem is the ones who got 3 months and 4 months and I did that little bid, that ain't nothing. And we go back and do it all over again because the little bid was nothing.
Mhm.
Now you did a little bit more bid. Now the next time you go back in there, you got life and double life because they kept giving you a little bit and you just didn't feel the effects of it. But after them,
It wasn't no real repercussions
right. So yeah,
from what they went in for the first time. They just got a little slap on the wrist. So it's like, okay. And then they keep doing
I
the
just
same thing.
I just think our generation that just the legacies and where we're going is just a ball of confusion.
it
Yeah.
is a ball of confusion. We are the temptations, like you said,
Mhm.
but we gotta, like
We
you
need
said,
to
we gotta
pray,
pray
honey.
for
I'm
our
telling you, we
children,
need to pray.
pray for this world, pray for this taxes, pray for our leaders. Even if we don't like them, we gotta pray for them.
Yes,
Pray
ma'am.
for those that despitefully use us. We have to lift them up, and we got to stay hopeful.
That's it right
We
there.
we got to
We
stay
have to stay
hopeful.
hopeful.
Well, you know what?
Because if you don't, I promise you're gonna lose your mind. I'm serious. You're gonna crack up. People think about how a lot of people just can't really deal with a lot of stuff. And you hear people talk about a lot of people like, oh, this is stressful. It is depressing. And yeah, it is, to some people. But we gotta keep the hope. We gotta hold on to some faith. And yeah.
Okay, everybody, you know what? We done had a good time tonight.
We
I don't know
have.
about you.
Yes,
You
I
we
come
hope
on
have.
you
back
all
and
had a
join
good
us.
time.
Join back here with us next time, and I'm gonna tell you a little something that we talked about with Joe Ostem. I heard him on Sunday. Joe Ostem said the man said the young boy said, "Daddy, I want a car." And he said, "I got my license." He said, "Sure, just bring your grades up. I want you to do your chores and then cut your hair." Came back 2 weeks later. Was I did all that? Daddy said, "You didn't cut your hair." He said, "Jesus didn't get hair. His hair was long. Moses' hair was long. Samson's hair was long. So I figured I'm good. My hair being long." He said, "Yeah, but what I read too, they walked everywhere. They went. People walking."
Keep walking, y'all. Love y'all. See you later.
Keep walking. That was good. Bye. You got it.
Power to proclaim liberty in Jesus'